Thank you all for joining the Irvine International Academy regularly scheduled board meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 19, 2026. The time is 6:02 p.m. We are located at 4782 Karen Ann Lane, Irvine, California 92604. I'd like to call this meeting to order and start with roll call. Molly?
Present.
Felipe?
Present.
Brett's here. David?
Present.
Thank you all. Next we'll move to approval of the agenda. Approval of the agenda for the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors on May 19, 2026. Recommended the Board of Directors approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors today, May 19, 2026. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, David. Is there a second? Thank you, Molly. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Moving on to community input on closed session agenda items. Members of the public may comment on items listed on the closed session agenda only. Public comments, including email comments, should be limited to 3 minutes per comment with up to 20 minutes of public comment. Are there any public comments?
There are none.
All right, we will move to closed session. I believe we planned for 30 minutes, is that right? And we'll reconvene in about 30 minutes. Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone for your patience. We are reconvening at 6:33 p.m. No action taken during closed session. Next we'll move to flag salute. Any volunteers? I'm happy to lead. Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving next, we've got public hearing. Public hearing, presentation of the IALCFF budget overview for parents 2025-26 annual update and 26-27 local control and accountability plan. It's recommended the board president open the public hearing, determine if members of the public have submitted requests to speak on the item, and after hearing any speakers, formally close the public hearing. The public hearing is opened at 6:34 p.m.
We have no comments.
Thank you. At this point, we'll close public hearing at 6:34 p.m. Moving next, public hearing, presentation of the IA 26-27 budget. It's recommended the board president open the public hearing, determine if members of the public have submitted requests to speak on the item, and after hearing speakers, formally close the hearing. Public hearing opened at 6:34 p.m.
Okay, we have no comments for this public hearing either.
Thank you. Public hearing closed at 6:35 p.m. Community input on agendized and non-agendized items. The public may comment on items listed on the agenda, including the consent calendar, presentation, discussion, committee, and action items. The public may also comment on items not listed on the agenda that are within the legal purview of the board of directors. Any public comments?
We have none.
All right, thank you. Moving to items for consent. Approve the minutes from the regular board meeting of the IA Board of Directors, May 12, 2026. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve consent item A. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I will
Thank you,
second.
Felipe. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Items for presentation, fiscal report and 26-27 budget. Mr. Wassel. Good evening, Mr. Wassel. Are you there?
Can you see if he's come in yet? I had originally told him 6:40, so he's like 4 minutes, but I did just send him a message. He's not here yet. Let me give him one more moment. Okay, let me send him one more message. If not, I can go to my presentation first. That's not a problem. will you be able to see if he comes in?
Mhm.
Okay, if the board is okay with it, I can start with my presentation first, which is the
Might have to read.
LCAP,
We already
that
approved the
doesn't go,
agenda.
yeah, okay. All right, well, give us a minute, you can look over the budget, he will not have a presentation, it is the spreadsheet that you have in your board folder and attached is what he'll be presenting. He should be in 2 or 3 minutes.
In 3 minutes.
Thank you. Mason, can you see if he's come in?
He has
Or
not come in
refresh,
yet.
or, I don't know.
No.
Will it show up?
It'll show when, Mr.
Okay,
Wassel
it'll just
joins.
automatically pop up.
Yes.
I have like 3 times. Oh, here he is.
Hello, Mr. Wassel, good evening, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, thank you for joining.
Great.
You have the
I'll
board's
go
attention.
ahead and present here. Thanks for your patience there. Can you guys see me okay?
Yes. Yes.
Great. So I'll go ahead and present the 2025 estimated actuals and then the 26-27 budget. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Great. So this is the 26-27 budget with 679 enrolled and 645 ADA. So obviously these are projections, but this is what the school expects to hit next year come April 2026. So obviously for ADA, that would be, April 2027. So that would be P2, when P2 is certified. Obviously, enrollment is increasing throughout the year to begin the year, and then as well to end the year. So the P2 though is come April 2027. So that ADA is taken throughout July through the middle of April 2027. So that that is gonna be the main driver of why we're seeing such a high surplus here. We do have a new payroll staffing that we expect for next year with a total of 6.5 million. And then as well, a COLA increase for those expenses in operations. But really the main driver for why we're seeing such a large surplus is 1.4, rounding out 1.5 million, is due to the high increase in enrollment and ADA that is expected based on current trends right now. So obviously, this is just a budget draft. This isn't for approval, but just wanted to give a high level breakdown of what the school expects as of now at the June meeting. There'll be potentially minor tweaks to the 26-27 budget, and so these numbers could change, but this is where it currently stands as of now. In terms of estimated actuals, this stands at about 1 million to end the year in a positive net income. Really, this column here, revision 2, is what the school board approved last budget in comparison to what we're projecting for to end the year. So why the variance? Really the main reason is going to be we are deferring some one-time revenue, and then as well there were some unbudgeted substitute expenses that we touched on at the last board meeting. So that's why there's this variance here between what was budgeted and what we're estimating. We do usually have more conservative estimates. It's not that the school's locked into this, right? This is just estimated. So the unaudited actuals, that will happen around August, September time. So that will be the confirmed numbers of how the school ended the year, and then obviously the audited actuals come around December time. But this is what we're currently projecting, and then the next few pages are just a breakdown of the revenues and expenses, but wanted to see if there's any questions on this first.
We're digesting, 1 second, please. No questions at this time, thanks.
Great. So this is all I have on the financial presentation as of now. In terms of other items that will be presented at this meeting, there'll also be the EPA, which is basically saying that a certain amount of LCFF funds will only be used for certified staff, and then the CONAP, which is approval for application to title funding, which is received each year. So this is more of just a compliance piece for the board to vote on, and it's done every year. So that will be upcoming as well.
I do have one question.
Yes.
So the salaries, all the salaries, everything actually include, the several additional hires, especially the health professional, all this we approved in the past 2 board meetings, right?
So the salaries that we've approved,
Yeah.
with the exception of one that was much earlier on, are for the 26-27 school year. So they wouldn't be in these estimated actuals. However, when he starts talking about the 26-27 budget,
That's good.
they are all included in that. The only additional hire that we did for this year, because we already had a sub in the position, was the health tech position.
Yeah.
But other than that, those additional positions
That's gonna be the next.
for next year, and they are in the estimated but
Okay.
projected budget.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Please proceed.
Great. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, please proceed.
Well, that is the remainder of the presentation. The next pages are really just a breakdown of the revenue and then a breakdown of the expenses. More high level. So nothing specific here that hasn't been talked about. Really the main page as of now, the main takeaway from the presentation would just be, this is what we're projecting to end the year at, what we're projecting for next year, but these are just estimates and a draft so far, not finalization of these numbers yet.
Mr. Wassel, I do notice, there's a line, capital outlay 0. That means a capital investment or capital, for like a physical expenditures? What's that mean, capital outlay?
Right, that would just be depreciation expenses.
What's that? Say it again, please.
Depreciation expense.
Good.
So that'd be like a capitalization of an asset and then depreciate it over time, which I don't believe the school has at this moment.
Can you give an example of what an asset that would depreciate? I think part of it is because we don't own our own site, and
Right.
furniture, things like that, we don't have those type of assets.
Right, so let's say, the school owned a building or, you could do a car that has a life of 10 years, not that would be at the school. A 10-year lifespan on a building, let's say, then you divide that over the 10 years and then depreciate that over a 10-year span. So the cash would leave your school immediately upon purchase of that asset, and then the expense or the net income that would occur over whatever lifespan of that asset is. So usually if it's a longer term asset, let's say 10 years, they'll have a 10-year lifespan. Anything that's over a year and that is over around $5,000 is depreciated. If it's an item under a year, then it just hits as an expense on the income statement.
Yeah, but I thought we do have some physical expenditures. All the computers will be treated as a group, right? And it's going to be depreciated on a yearly basis. I don't know how, what's it's a linear or whatever, 4 years or 5 years on computer generally. All these physical assets would take a linear depreciation curve, right, or a line. So that should be reflected every month. That's number one. Number two, I'm a little surprised that we don't have any capital expenditure in April. 0?
Yeah, so that is expected for the year, even past April. And then for the computers, I can double check that. It would depend on, since it's multiple computers, and each is under that threshold, and then as well the lifespan of those. I could double check that purchase though for the school, but from my understanding as of now, it wouldn't be capitalized.
Those are probably already been depreciated. Because computers are older.
I'm sorry,
The computers are older. Aren't they?
We've done refresh every year though, so we did a refresh right before I came on at the end of last school year. And then the purchase for next school year, we made recently, as we just made, I think, last month as well. And going back to our financials, I was trying to research that a little bit more about when we purchased computers, and it's because of tariffs and fees and inventory that we purchased at the end of the school year instead of waiting until July 1, because then by then they won't have the inventory for us. but that's been the practice. So we can find out more about that.
Yeah, I can double check on the Chromebooks and then provide an update to the school.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a dollar limit, I don't know if you look at per computer, it's, I don't know, 2,500 or something like that, where it's anything less than that, you don't have to depreciate. But
Yeah, we just did our purchase, so we can look at the amount that we spent per computer. I know Mason actually did a lot with working with different vendors and getting the best deal. So we can look into that more and make sure if they fall within that capital outlay and depreciation.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, everything is consumables, including the screens, all the projectors, everything will become, if you have just the several pieces of equipment, you're gonna see this depreciation. Right? That's on your book, this thing. If someone's gonna audit it, that should be on your book as a physical assets. Anyway.
Yeah, we can, I can double
That's
check that.
unusual to see zero. It's very unusual.
Right, I can double check that, with our team.
Okay.
all right, anything
Okay,
else?
any other questions?
Yeah, that's it for now. Thank you.
I think we're good.
Were you going to, were you going to go over the 26-27 budget a little bit? Or was that it?
Really no other comments here, really, main driver for next year and for each year is gonna be the enrollment and ADA in terms of how the school is doing in net income wise. So if the school can hit these numbers next year, then in terms of enrollment and ADA, then the 26-27 budget does look good overall.
Okay, thank you very much,
Great, thank you guys.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to B, local control and accountability plan. This is the LCAP, Dr. Henry.
Okay, good evening. So, very excited to present our LCAP. Our team has been working very hard on this. This is a required presentation, and there will be a lot of information in here, but you also have a draft of the LCAP that is in the board folder. This is a public hearing, and I'm presenting the information, but you will not be approving this evening. In fact, you will not be approving the LCAP until the June 23rd board meeting, the next board meeting that we have scheduled. So this is more informational, but please feel free to stop and ask any questions you have. I'm going to probably give more of an overview than really get nitpicky into some of this because there's a lot of data, a lot of numbers, and I'd like to share how we got to some of these places. I think that's what's most important. So a background about the LCAP is it is a 3-year plan and that describes our goals, our action services, our expenditures, and it's used to support positive outcomes here at IIA. I believe deeply that the LCAP is our strategic plan, and I do take that pretty seriously with our team, with our families. And so we put a lot of effort this year into really making the LCAP align to what we do and to our spending and our budget. We've spent hours and hours and hours as a team. I work very closely with our director of HR as well as business and operations. We've been, but the whole team in general also has they have participated in the LCAP process, and we've learned a lot. So I will go through the components of the LCAP. It's a very long plan. I believe ours is 84 pages. There's a budget overview for parents, the plan summary. We talk about how we engage educational partners. The meat of it is our goals and actions, our spending, and then there's some action tables in there as well. Just as background, the LCAP must be tied to the 8 state priorities, and all of these priorities, whether they be school climate, are we implementing state standards, parent involvement, we have to have data to show that we are, where our progress is in aligning our spending and our strategic plan to these 8 state priorities. And I'll go through the different goals and how we do that. I am very proud of how we've engaged our educational partners this year, our parent involvement. So we have, the first bullet are things that we've been doing that we have maintained. 3 LCAP advisory meetings, school site council, coffee with the principal, parent workshops, safety committee. We have an ILT of our leaders on campus. We have an ELAC. And we give a survey. We have our public board meetings. But we've also added 3 advisory committees this year, and we've met quite a few times. So we've added the Executive Director Advisory Committee, the Curriculum Advisory Committee meetings, and then we've also, our Assistant Principal in charge of our Mandarin program, added a Mandarin Program Advisory Committee. We also, at the board's request, added a quarterly check-in survey that we have, we're just about to give for the 4th time, but that we have given 3 times throughout the school year. Some examples about how the LCAP was influenced by this feedback. And again, I think the main point that I'd like to make for this whole presentation is our efforts this year have gone into really aligning all of our purchases and all of our spending to LCAP goals and priorities. It was pretty general, and some things weren't aligned, but now they are, and it's taken a bit of a road for us to get there. And so you'll see it in the actions. We weren't changing too many actions. I think a lot of changes happened last year, but now it was more about clarity and alignment and being very precise with our language. So some of the specific actions were, we put more detail in to some of them. Like we wanted, our feedback from our stakeholders was to add specificity of how we support all of our specialty classes. It used to say just STEAM, but how do you support music? How do you support PE? How do you support the science classes and intramural sports? They wanted to see more purchases reflected on safety and emergency equipment, as well as CAS support and preparation. So moving on to Goal 1. Goal 1 is all about our academic program. It is that we provide students with their dual immersion English Mandarin program, and we provide academic intervention if they need it. You can see the metrics here. Many of these metrics we have reviewed in previous board meetings. So we have our access to courses, which is 100%. We have growth on the iReady. We don't have that finalized data yet, so that will be pending, but it will be here before you approve in June. We use our CAS ELA, which is based on last year's CAS scores for this LCAP, and so we do know that we had a little bit of a dip in our CAS score, so those are reflected on the LCAP, and our actions that we put together are meant to address some of that. Moving on through the metrics, we have our CAS scores again, but that is how they're reflected on the California School Dashboard, where we have our Mandarin assessments like level learning and our reclassification. A lot of those end of the year data will be available right after the school is over. And then our 3rd page of metrics are the survey data. So we included all the survey data and did a 2-year comparison and then where we wanted to be. So we've also shared this data in other meetings because this survey was given in November. But you can see for the first one, we pull out questions about academics and high expectations. And we have the students, the staff, and the parents, and how they all responded. As I shared before, the student survey, we saw a lot of positive growth in how they answered, especially the academic questions. But with our staff, as well as our parent survey, we saw some dips in the survey. And I'll tell you what I think happened is with 100 extra families, when we were analyzing the data, we had a lot of new families that said, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. So they weren't in that top 2. And then also with the staff survey, for the first time, we opened it up to classified staff. So I think when it came to some of the academic questions, they just checked the neutral or I'm not sure, which brought our scores down a little bit. But I do think that those are some good decisions, and we are looking at all of those areas and have them reflected in our actions. All right, moving on. LCAP Goal 1 actions. Again, stop me if you have any questions, but this is our spending, our projected spending for the coming year. I would like to say we saw a 14%. If we hit our targets, as Mr. Bossell shared, we will see a 14% increase in our enrollment. And so I don't feel that our LCAP will be exactly that 14%, but you'll see a bit of an increase in a lot of the metrics that we use to make sure that we're able to provide for increased enrollment. So for staff development and support, this one's a little higher than last year, but I collapsed another action, which was called writing instruction, and we removed that one, so the spending for both went together. We thought, again, we were looking at alignment and precision so that anyone could look at these actions and say, I know where you're spending your money. And also when we make purchases, we can tag it to the correct LCAP action. Highly retained staff, that one is an increase as well. Although I will say it was a significant increase because we had not previously included benefits into that action. And we're really just trying to make it clarity is what we're going for. Coaching and support, which is through a portion of our principal and our assistant principal, as well as the addition of our trainer of trainers. That's just a small stipend. Intervention and acceleration. Assessments and programs, these are remaining about the same amount of spending as last year. Our library had the same amount. If you go to the next slide, when we took out the writing program, this is a new action, materials and supplies. We spend a lot of money on papers and copy machine rentals and things like that, but we had nowhere to capture it all. They were kind of tucked in to different actions. And so now it's all going to be in one place. Our team will know where to tag things. It'll be very clear, and it'll help us to monitor our spending on printing costs and those kind of things. We are continuing a little bump in our ELD program because of staffing costs. Our special education, it remains aligned with our funding from federal and state special education. For GATE, identification and enrichment, although we did start our program this year, and I'm proud of the progress we've made, we only spent about $1,500, but the team thought it was important to keep the same amount dedicated in case we decide to do some GATE field trips, and so we have a little bit of money to do some spending there. Curriculum and materials, that first one is for elementary, the second is for middle school. You can see for the STEAM, that's where we added the specialty classes that our stakeholders were asking for more clarity and more, a little bit more aligned to all of these wonderful things like yearbook and engineering and recess equipment were added. Mandarin instruction, we have continued to refine. I know a lot of work was done last year. This time what we've done though is really aligned the curriculum, and we added all of the Mandarin IAs under that action since they support the Mandarin instruction. Again, trying to just clarify where our staffing, what goals they're aligned to, as well as our purchases. Our summer and after-school programs, that's aligned to our ELOP amount. And then we had 2 new actions for Goal 1. And that was field trips and civic learning and enrichment. We did not have an action for field trips. And so as we were paying for buses and field trip fees, we were not aligning it in the same place. And so now we will know what our spending is for field trips and then other civic learning. And as a recommendation from the state, we did add, because we're getting extra money for TK instruction, it was recommended that we added an action on TK instruction. So we took that recommendation, and that is our TK staffing is reflected, and any materials and things like that. So that would be our TKIAs as well as our TK teachers. Any questions on Goal 1?
You want to reserve that for until you finish, or?
I can do either way. If it's something timely, or if you want to wait until the end,
Yeah,
it's
I
up
want
to
to
you.
wait until.
You want me to keep going?
finish, yeah.
Okay. So LCAP 2 is all about our school climate and culture, attendance, having a safe, welcoming environment, facilities. A lot of those things go into Goal 2. So if you look at the metrics we use, you'll see each goal gets a little shorter and shorter because there's fewer metrics. There's more metrics, obviously, that are aligned with academics than there are with school climate and culture, but we do have quite a few. So the first one is our attendance rate. Looking at attendance, we had a 96.7 attendance rate last year, which is remarkable. That is very, very high. We're aiming for it again this year. I think we're gonna hit 96. When P2 hit, we were a little over that, but maybe not 96.7. We also look at chronic absenteeism, and I know that our Director of Student Services has been doing a lot of work there. You can see, actually, I would say that that is the dashboard metric that we did the best on, was chronic absenteeism last year. Just really brought those numbers. Those numbers you want to go down, not up, and they did. We have suspension by student group, expulsion rates, which are 0 and remain at 0, and then also the fit rating of our school facility. So there is a metric. It's a facility inspection tool that is used by all schools in California to rate your school. So it's not just, oh, I think it looks good. It's a very detailed checklist that you go through, and the county also does that when they come to do their visit. So we are doing well with the FIT tool as well. And then we get into the surveys, and these surveys are about the school climate, culture, what people think about safety, and we did see both some decreases and increases in this data. And again, I do think some of it is about the changes in our demographic, but we as a team, as an LCAP advisory committee, did look very carefully if data took a big dip, what are we doing to help improve that and move forward? So those are all of our metrics on our survey when it comes to school climate and culture. When we get to the actions, this was another place where we wanted to bring more clarity and not just put a dollar amount, but what are we spending that on? What does that mean? So for PBIS and MTSS, that budgeted expenditure actually went down, but it's more aligned to actual things that we will be purchasing and implementing, as well as assemblies. We wanted to bring some more outside vendors to do assemblies on anti-bullying, mental health for our kids. And so that was written on here last year. We didn't have those type of assemblies. We had our more internal pause assemblies, which are free, but we're dedicated to kind of bringing in some of those outside vendors. Kids like them. They're pretty fun. And then for community building, we usually don't spend anything in that in that dollar amount because of our generous PTO, but we put $6,000 in just in case, you know, we need to fund some of those things. You can see I collapsed our SEL curriculum and mental health and put those two actions together. We got a little more detailed on campus safety as well as the mental health on the top of the next page. We collapsed. We added a new action on food services. Nowhere in our previous LCAP did we talk about food services. So as we were purchasing things for serving food and the staffing that is used, it wasn't tied to any LCAP goals or actions, and now we have that in place, as well as facilities. And we beefed that one up because our rent we added to the facility. So we, again, are taking all of those expenditures and really aligning them. Cybersecurity, we expanded to include device management. That would be that light speed. We went a little deeper into attendance support. We hired, at the beginning of last year, an attendance clerk. And then our technology and equipment, we expanded to include operational technology, like Adobe Sign and those kind of things that aren't student related, were not included in our LCAP before. And then classroom behavior supports are going to be expanded, not just to continue with PBIS, but also as we partner with our new SELPA, they're going to do some trainings on how our teachers can support a full inclusion model, since all of our students with disabilities are included in the regular classroom. That's one of the many reasons why I'm very excited to start with our new SELPA. They do amazing training. Last goal, shortest goal, is parent involvement. Probably a very important goal though. So parent support and engagement, and how we do that to keep our entire community connected. So our metrics for this, it's a little harder to measure, but we do our best. We have been looking at the number of students who participate in the surveys, the family and student surveys, and we had 27%, which was a little higher than last year. The percentage of students, of families that access Parent Square, that was a huge jump. We have 91.1% of our families access Parent Square, and that's a really good sign, where it was in the 70s last year. The number of families contributing and providing parent input on decision-making meetings, again, we did increase our number of opportunities for parent input, but you can see some of the percents. You know, it really is kind of hit or miss, and I think this board, we've had this discussion before, that we'll get a rush of people at some of the meetings and some will be a little bit more quiet, but I do feel that our parents are aware of the opportunities, and if they would like to come, they definitely come. And then our number of community activities went up by 3 because we added those 3 advisory committees this year. And then finally, we'll end with our parent and staff stakeholder survey. And we did see some good gains. I was happy to see some of the good gains. This had a lot of improvement in do we encourage our parents' input? Do we create meaningful opportunities? Do we promote parent education? Do we provide adequate communication? We saw an increase in every single one of those across the board, because I think the message was clear that communication was really important. All right, finishing up with those LCAP Goal 3 actions and where are we spending our money aligned to parent engagement. So we have parent engagement and workshops, which is something that we have every month. I am proud of that. A lot of schools or organizations will say that they have parent workshops, but we really do. They're real, they happen, and we have, depending on the subject, we have pretty good attendance with those. We do provide bilingual community outreach and support. We do that through having a communication outreach coordinator who does a really good job of talking and communicating with our families. Other community partnerships and engagement are things like all of our celebrations, Lunar New Year, Mid-Autumn Festival, all of these things that we do to encourage community building really here at IIA. Family access to dual immersion and online support. Part of that is the salary of our assistant principal of Mandarin, because she puts together a lot of newsletters, she puts together things for our families. Moving down for communication, that pays and aligns to all of those software platforms that we use to communicate, including Parent Square, but also we're gonna bring on SurveyMonkey so I can do some better work with the surveys, our website, all of those things, and as well as branding for our new families, making them feel welcome and getting our name out in the community. So those are all of our goals, actions, and services, and where we're planning to spend the money. An important thing to note is that each year, State of California, they give us this funding and they say, we want you to increase your services for your high needs students each year. Like you can't just keep doing what you're always doing, you always have to look and improve, and that would be our English learners, our foster youth, and our low income students. And so this year we are projected to get $5,064,379 of our LCFF funds are to go directly to our high needs students. And when the calculator of our platform for LCAP, it looked at all of those actions and services, and it said, it looks like you're increasing services for those students by 7.347%, and yes, they take it out all the way, 3. I usually don't take it out that far. And then they listed all the actions that are showing an increase or improved services for our high needs students. So I want to end there, and I know we have some questions, but I want to thank our employees, especially I would say the cabinet level team. We've all done a lot of learning around the LCAP and spending and making it real and not just pulling out numbers. And we've had to change the way we do things. And so I'm very proud of that. And I do think it's making this whole strategic plan be our roadmap for the next year and the next coming year. So thank you, everyone. It's great, and it just reminds me of all the wonderful things that we do. So what questions do you have for me?
Thank you, and just to know, we've got 1 minute before interviews are to start,
Okay,
so
perfect.
any quick questions?
Yeah, I do. I do have a few questions. I did, sort of basically hold during your presentation. It's great to see the results, the goals and so forth. So that in the interest of time, just to focus on several things. Number one, on the LCAP goal 1, I noticed that there were several things. One, library spending only 3,742. That was a surprise to me. Compared to other spending, sometimes, for example, special education, $500,000, more than $500,000, 546,000. Library spending less than 4,000. Personally, each year I spend a couple of $1,000 buying books. And for school here, I'm really surprised we only spend,
So, I don't remember,
Yeah.
sorry, it's 7:20. Can we carry the questions to after the interviews? Is that okay?
Absolutely,
We have parents coming in
absolutely. I'm happy to do that.
specific times.
yeah.
Okay.
I do have a few other
I want to make sure we
comments.
definitely address.
Yeah.
we'll
And
definitely
I'm
address
happy
it.
to answer them. So
Yeah.
we'll go to the interviews. I'll let you go ahead and
Yeah.
introduce that while I
Right after.
move all this.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, so that's open-ended. We will come back to ask our questions and get clarity on that. Thank you for your understanding of that. We'd like to move to the board member interviews. The IA Board of Directors will conduct interviews in open session with 4 candidates tonight, May 19, 2026. On April 28, 2026, an additional 5 candidates were interviewed. The first round of interviews will last approximately 15 minutes each. The second round, the nomination, if any, will be held on June 23rd, 2026 at a regularly scheduled board meeting. And with that, do we have our first candidate of the evening?
We do. So you can go ahead and address here. You have the questions. The questions in your packet are the same questions, they're just a little bigger font right there for you as well. Yeah, you can use either one, yes.
Perfect. Thank you for your interest and thank you for being here. Would you mind please stating your name?
Hello, I'm not sure if it's working, but I have a carrying voice, so.
I don't think.
Press the button on the microphone, it'll turn green.
Okay.
So hold it down, it'll turn green.
Thank you. Hello, my name is full name Teodora Mutsubaloyu, but I go by Teo. It's easier to go by, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. To let you know, we are going to be asking you some questions which you have in front of you, and we're going to be taking notes along the way. Each of us will ask a question in order, and we'll cycle back. And we have 15 minutes, and we have a timekeeper.
I'll give you a 5,
Okay.
yeah, when it gets close.
And then at the end, if you wouldn't mind leaving the questions
Yes.
here, we'll collect them. With that, Molly, please speak
Sure,
to the floor.
I'll start. Okay, question one, this one has 2 parts. Tell us about your background and what draws you to serve on the board of IIA, and if selected, and what would be your top priorities in your first year?
Very good question, thank you. So I spent my life at the intersection of between people, policy, compliance, organizational culture, with my HR experience of almost 20 years. So that's something that I would bring to the board. Some of the things that I would look at first and would be probably the facilities issue. Maybe I can help in a strategic way to move forward with the current situation we have with IUSD and the second charter school interested in some of our classrooms. So maybe I can help with that as well. And what else do I write here? Staff retention. I know we've had some people coming and going, and hopefully we can find a way to retain those very good teachers that we have on staff, and also not just the staff, not just the teachers, but also the admin part of the school. And what draws me to be part of the board, I'm European, so I believe in multicultural, dual language speaking, and I think it's great for the kids. It's great for families in Irvine to be able to bring their kids to this type of school, because I believe, again, being able to learn or speak 2 languages, it's a great thing for your mind. It's proven fact scientifically that people who can speak more than 1 language have a better cognitive, they're better cognitively than others. Maybe not always, but I really think that's one part. And also I've had my kids here for the past 3 years. I have a kindergartner, 2nd year, and then a 4th grader, 3rd year here, and they both love it. My daughter is better at Mandarin than English apparently, and she is not native Mandarin speaker. I like the way that teachers teach the kids. I'll be honest, there's always room for improvement in some areas. Not everything is always roses, but things can be improved. So yes, sorry, next question.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Okay, and I just want to confirm that we have the right information for you. We do have your CV, but not a cover letter. Is that correct?
I don't remember if I sent one.
Okay,
or not.
yeah,
Okay.
I checked, but I didn't see it. Okay, what specific skills, experiences, or networks would you bring to the board, and how would you actively contribute to advancing the school's mission?
Okay. Yeah, I've had a extensive background in HR, and HR usually is aligning people with organizational goals. And what I would bring to the table is I can check on and strengthen any of the employment practices and the school handbook, review those, provide guidance on the framework for the performance of the executive director, can provide on that information, review any legal compliant practices, navigate personal matters confidentially. Did I miss anything?
Okay, thank you.
Question number 3. What do you see
the appropriate role of the board versus school leadership, and how would you maintain that distinction in practice?
Okay, another good question. The board is the one that sets the policy. The board is the one that sets the policies, is the one that makes sure that there's a legal and accounting accountability. And the school leadership, I look at it as the operational part. So I guess if I were to be on the board, I would ask myself, is it that am I setting a policy, or am I going to run the operations? So that's kind of how I see the distinction between the two of them.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm a slow writer. Welcome for coming. What do you believe is the greatest challenges currently facing the IIA, and what role should the board play in addressing them while ensuring proper oversight?
Yes, the greatest challenge right now is the facilities dispute. And, I mean, there's so much that we can do, but all we can do it because we have to deal with IUSD, right? And there's another organization that's interested in the same space like we are. And all we can do is make sure that we provide the correct information, we provide data of how we've done in the past few years. Why is it important for us to keep IIA as IIA only and not share the space with someone else? And I will probably have some data as how would that impact if that would be the case, that we have to split our classrooms with someone else.
Thank you.
Question 5. Can you support and publicly uphold a board decision you disagree with? And please explain how you would handle that situation.
Okay. Well, my first question is, are we the Supreme Court where we will have a dissenting decision that we'll have to say, if we're against something, we'll have to present it, or is it one for all and all for one? So I think it's something that sometimes you make decisions and you make them internally, and whether you agree or you don't agree, at the end you'll have to go with the decision of the majority and present that as a fronted union.
Thank you.
From a governance perspective, what priorities should the board set regarding academic performance and program offerings?
I think we've done really good in the past couple of years at having or increasing the academics of our kids, having higher rates than other schools in the area, of other charter schools in Orange County. And I think we're good where we are. We can continue to improve and make it even better for our kids and their learning in math, English, science. I'd like to see more arts if possible, or sports. I know we don't have a big facility, but we can maybe find different ways that we can add more of those as well for our kids.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, what are your views on board composition, including parent versus non-parent representation, and how should the board approach potential expansion to additional campuses?
Okay. I think it will be good to have a good representation from all sides. If it's balanced, it's always good. You have someone that is a parent, there's someone that's not a parent, and you can have different views of the same situation. So it's good to have that on board. On the approach potential expansion to additional campuses, I think it's great. Probably you're looking at having 1st to 4th grade or TK through 4th grade here or somewhere else, and then 5th to 8th grade somewhere else as we grow. And I think that's a great idea. Just have to find that location and I don't know, fight with IUSD or Magnolia for it. So.
Thank you.
That was the final question, there are 6 minutes remaining, so if the board has any additional things that you would like to ask, that would be a good time.
You wanna-
What, you said you had 2 children here, and what grades are they?
Kindergarten, Ms. Crescenti, and 4th grade,
And the teacher's name in the 4th grade?
Ms. Gao.
Thank you.
I just wanna follow up,
Yes.
maybe you already mentioned, I mean, okay, so, you know, in your view, in addition to facilities, disputes, and so forth, so what are other, if you come on board, become a board member, what's your main agenda, you know, any changes that you want to bring to the board?
I cannot say that I have my own changes that I want to bring to the school and the board, but I would like to see first what you have on your plate, and look at everything you have on your plate and be able to maybe provide guidance or provide input or additional information to those things. Not everything that exists is broken, so sometimes you don't really have to change something that's not broken. Improvement can be done, but I would not know until I will be joining you on the board.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was just curious, since you've been here for several years now, if you've been happy with the progress, happy with the improvements, what have you seen over the past 3 years, is that right?
Yeah, 3 years. I've seen the school grow. I've seen a lot of additional classes and a lot of parents joining at the open houses and being interested to attend IIA. I think that word of mouth from parents being at this school has gone far, and a lot of people have been interested to join the school because of the academic status, the type of schooling, the teachers, and the support of the staff, which I actually like. So.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, and we'll circle back and have some further direction.
I hope to see you, I hope to see you at the spring fling.
I will try to make it. I'll see. I know it's coming out.
Friday night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. On the scheduled time, right? So, no. Let's see your schedule first. Okay, back to,
Yes.
okay. In grad school? Oh, so he's gonna sign in
Yes.
and go, okay. I'll go.
Thank you.
All right, I'll take you to our room. These are the questions they will be asking you. This is just for you to prepare. If you want to take notes again, but we will collect those questions after, so we'll keep them for that.
We'll have about 15 minutes. There's 7 questions. I'll just be kind of like saying 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you know. I'll be your timekeeper. These questions are the same, just a little bigger font. If you need it.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Do you mind confirming your name?
Maxim Pedro.
All right, thank you, Maxim. Welcome. I believe you're here earlier, so you may have heard me read already, but just for a reminder, IA Board of Directors will conduct interviews in open session with 4 candidates tonight, May 19, 2026. On April 28, 2026, an additional 5 candidates were interviewed. First round of interviews will last approximately 15 minutes each. Second round of nomination, if any, will be held on June 23rd, 2026 at a regularly scheduled board meeting. So you have that information. We have some questions here, 7 questions, the same ones in front of you are in front of us, and then each board member will have an opportunity to ask you, and we'll just go in order, if that's okay. All right, with that, Molly?
Okay, I'll start. Question 1 has 2 parts. Tell us about your background and what draws you to serve on the board of IIA, and also, if selected, and what would be your top priorities in your first year?
My name is Maxim. I go by Max to make it easy for everyone.
Use your mic.
My name is Maxim and I go by Max to make it easy for everyone. Prior to moving to this country, I was an expert import. I was in business. We exported import a lot of things from all over the country, all over the places. And after moving here, I switched to IT. And last 10 years, I've been working in IT, big companies, Apple, Thomson Reuters, my current company, iHerb. So last 10 years, I was in IT. And my desire to serve them comes from my intention to help. I want the school to be successful. My 2 kids go to the school, and they are in TK in 1st grade, soon will be kinder and 2nd grade. So I want the school to be successful so my kids can go to a successful school. And top priority is I really want to have a shaded playground area. That's one of the things I was talking to principal, and I think it's important to have it.
Thank you.
All right, we received your resume and your cover letter, so thank you for submitting both of those. What specific skills, experiences, or networks would you bring to the board, and how would you actively contribute to advancing the school's mission?
Over the years, I've been working on different teams, big and small, different companies. And I think I learned I get the skill how to communicate and how to solve certain problems. I think this is an important skill to have. I think I'm an active parent, active participant, even in this school, in this community. I'm on school side council. I also serve on my HOA board and other non-profit organization here in Irvine. I just want to dedicate my time, spend my time, and invest in the future.
Thank you.
Question number 3. What do you see as the appropriate role of the board versus the school leadership, and how would you maintain that distinction in practice?
I think board members should support school leadership and staff, and even if for some reason I have different views, I think it's another question somewhere, different views on certain things, I still have to follow the board's decision, whatever we decided as a board, so that's the thing. And of course, be responsible for I know school is growing, so it has to be responsible growth of the school.
Thank you.
What do you believe are the greatest challenges currently facing IIA, and what role should the board play in addressing them while ensuring proper oversight?
I think school is doing great. I really like the school. Within like 2 years, 3 years, going to the school. It changed, yes, but school is doing great. About challenges, I don't know about challenges. I'm sure there are challenges, but those challenges are smaller than accomplishments. School is growing, and as I said, it has to grow responsibly. And always there is room for improvement, like communication with parents, school and parents. I think that's maybe the only things I can think about.
Thank you.
Okay, question 5. Can you support and publicly uphold a board decision you disagree with? And please explain how you would handle that situation.
Yes, I little bit touch on this. Absolutely, I understand. And over the years, I've been in different teams, and I've seen instances when certain team members, team players, they did not really follow what teammates or the leader is asking. And this situation is not played out very well. I absolutely agree. It has to be followed. Whatever we decide, it has to be followed.
Thank you.
Okay, from a governance perspective, what priorities should the board set regarding academic performance and program offerings?
This is hard for me. I think we have to have like a benchmark and based on our scores, academic achievements, performance of the kids, of the students, and use curriculum what is best work, what's best for the kids, for the school, and for the students. It has to be balanced somehow. It's not easy for me to answer this question. Take input from parents, from teachers, from leaders, and decide what is the best.
Thank you.
Question number 7. What are your views on board composition, including parents versus non-parent parent representation, and how should the board approach potential expansion to additional campuses?
I think it's important to have parents on the board. It's important to have parents representation, so the board can hear from the parents what is concerns are, what are concerns people might have. Parents, of course, should not run the school. It has to be decided by a group of people and not only parents. What is the second part?
By expansion.
Well, you cannot limit the growth. You have to expand. That's inevitable. And unfortunately, I've heard that maybe there's not enough room in this building. But I know other schools, they have same campuses, and they have, I don't know how to call this, right? Small places where kids go, small classrooms. Let's call them classrooms, individual classrooms. And they used to be there on this field. I saw them before, maybe 5 years ago, maybe more or less. So we cannot stop the growth, but it has to be responsible. We have to go responsible.
Yeah, Castor Max, I just want to kind of follow on question number 7. So I guess I'm not very entirely clear on your views on, the board composition, parents versus non-parents board members. Clearly, what's your view? You support both, or you think there should be predominantly parents?
Well, maybe 50-50.
Sorry?
Maybe 50-50.
Okay. All right. That's
if
okay.
you cannot find the right ground, right?
Okay.
It's middle, so 50-50.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, that was the final question. We do have a little over 5 minutes left if the board has additional questions that they would like to ask.
Do you live in the Orange Tree
Yes.
community?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
Well, I bought my house in 2018, but I moved and I rented from 2016.
And is that your first board experience working on the HOA? Working on the
Yes.
HOA? And you ran for a position there?
Yes,
And you won?
yes.
How do you like
It-
that?
it
How do you
was-
like dealing with the homeowners?
It was not difficult. This one is much more difficult. Okay.
I was president of the Toronto Homeowner Association, which
Okay.
is right next door,
Yes.
for 7 years. So I know where you're coming from.
I think we can manage our finances very well. Our HOA dues is still very, very low compared to others.
Mm.
So it seems you've been pretty happy with the school.
Yes.
You've been here several years and you've seen improvements. I know we've had changes in leadership here, but do you see the school continuing to improve?
Yes, I see it's just, my kids like the school, and I like them when they go to like the school. There are some challenges with parking, because more people are coming. There are some challenges here and there, but overall, I'm very happy with the school. And thank you for listening you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your time and your interest in applying here. We appreciate it. We'll work through and go through the evaluation process, and we'll be sure to get back to you. But we really appreciate your interest, and thank you for being an important part of the school.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Do you have the copy of the questions for me back? There you go.
To get that back.
Okay. And then, thank you. Okay. Yeah, which is great.
All right, thank you.
I'll go get them.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, great, that's good. It's still live outside. It was pretty fast.
We'll have about 15 minutes, there'll be 7 questions. If there's time at the end, then I let them know, hey, we have some extra time, what other questions do you have? So this will be the hot seat. Those questions are the same ones you have in your hand, they're just bigger font, because I know I like the bigger font.
No, that's the first thing I was like, man, I forgot my glasses
Right.
already. Yeah.
So you can see the same questions here, we will be able to read your notes, obviously, and then this is on, so you'll speak into this. Again, about 15 minutes, I'll be your timekeeper.
Thank you for being here.
Howdy.
Howdy. Would you mind stating your name?
My name is Sang Park.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate your time. I'm just going to read something to you regarding the process here. The IAA Board of Directors will conduct interviews in open session with 4 candidates tonight, May 19, 2026, and April 28, 2026. An additional 5 candidates were interviewed. The first round of interviews will last approximately 15 minutes each. The second round, a nomination, if any, will be held on June 23rd, 2026 at a regularly scheduled board meeting. We have questions in front of us, 7 of them, which are the same in front of you, and each board member will ask in order. We'll circle back. We have 15 minutes, and with that, I will defer to Molly.
All right. Okay, question 1 has 2 parts. Tell us about your background and what draws you to serve on the board of IAA. And if selected, what would be your top priorities in your first year?
So first of all, I have 2 kids that go to IIA. They're in the 5th grade and in the 7th grade. And so, number 1, I want to see them continue to be successful here, and so that's my number 1 priority. And I think that the reason that I picked this school was because it was going to be a great opportunity for them. Number 2, I've been working for Southern California Edison for the past 20 years. I am the primary point of contact for 300 generating resources for the entire Western United States. Responsible for this real-time operation of all those resources. Requires a lot of analytical skills, a lot of scheduling skills, and making sure that those resources are on schedule, following the requirements that are required by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commissions, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and many other federal agencies, including the state agencies, including the California Public Utilities Commissions, the California ISO, and the California Energy Commission. And so I'm very, very familiar with federal requirements, state requirements, which is all very similar to how public utility would operate, similar to how a school would operate, where they also have to follow Department of Education requirements, and other federal and state requirements that are all very, 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 very shockingly similar to how a public utility operates. And number two, I've also served on my community's HOA board. I was vice president for approximately 3 years. I'm very familiar with the challenges when it comes to maintaining the budgets on a limited resource that we have, and that had given me lots of opportunity to see different perspectives and how to coordinate vendors, how to coordinate with projects that are coming up, and maintaining a fiscal responsibility in a manner that is transparent and that is and in line with the community goal. And so same thing with the school here. I think there was on your website, the mission for the school was to commit academic achievement, high academic achievement, to cultivate students for the 21st century, and that is in line, very similar to how we operate in the public utilities service, where we need to be constantly mindful of ratepayers' money. And same thing on the HOA board, we have a set budget that we have to adhere to.
Thank you.
Okay. So to confirm, I believe we had both your CV and your cover letter, so thank you for submitting both of those. What specific skills, experiences, or networks would you bring to the board, and how would you actively contribute to advancing the school's mission?
So as I mentioned before, that I've had 20 years with Southern California Edison. With my knowledge of federal requirements, state requirements, I'm very familiar with those types of skills that need to be able to understand how those rules are to be applied on a local level. We have at Edison, because we have so many resources, we have a daily schedule that we have to meet on, because if we don't meet the schedule that we have forecasted, there is always a chance that a major mistake could be very, very dire for the ratepayers. And so there is a constant monitoring, constant responsibility that has to take place on a daily basis. And whenever that when we work a 12-hour day, and so during that 12-hour day, we are the ones responsible for all generation resources, and very similar to the way how an education school would work. There are programs that need to have a set schedule that has to be followed. There's a set program that needs to be developed. All those requirements, we do on a daily basis, across for the state of California, for the Southern California region.
Question number 3. What do you see as the appropriate role of the board versus the school leadership, and how would you maintain the distinction in practice?
So, just like when I served on the HOA board, the board's responsibility is to set the oversight, set the strategic goals, and to ensure the accountability of the school. And so, the board is not necessarily is to take care of the day-to-day operations. That's where the school leadership is for. But the board is responsible to set the goals, set the standards in order for the school leadership to be able to do the measurable requirements that have been set out by the board to achieve.
Thank you.
Howdy, right back at you. Okay? What do you believe is the greatest challenges currently facing IAA, and what role should the board play in addressing them while ensuring proper oversight?
So there's three things that I see that is always going to be the challenges. It's going to be accountability, making sure that the board keeps the students and the teachers accountable for their roles, making sure that we get those goals that we want to achieve to maintain the high academic excellence that the school has, to continue that. Number two, we want to do this in a manner that's transparent to all the stakeholders, to the parents, to the teachers, and so that way it's done in a manner that we all have a shared goal where we want to see our students excel and be successful. And I believe that we can as long as we are able to do that in a transparent manner, that that can be achieved. And the third thing is there's always going to be a challenge to, the federal requirements, state requirements are constantly changing. They constantly change for SoCal Edison, and there's going to be constantly changing for the schools here as well. As those requirements change, we need to be able to adapt to those changes and to be able to implement them accordingly.
Thank you.
Question 5. Can you support and publicly uphold a board decision you disagree with? And please explain how you would handle that situation.
Right, this goes back to having that shared common goal that we attribute to. We want to have our students be successful academically and be prepared for their future. And so I think for any challenge where there's a disagreement, the priority is to always recognize that that's the shared goal that we all share. And so, there isn't, at Edison there is never a one way of doing anything. There's 10 different ways, 100 different ways of doing the same that will accomplish the same thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that my way is the only way. There's always many, many ways to reach the same goal.
From a governance perspective, what priorities should the board set regarding academic performance and program offerings?
The school's mission is the academic success and cultivating students. As long as it's done in a manner that is transparent, and also done in a manner that's within the budget, and that can and I think it can done in a manner that distinguishes ourselves from the other public schools. Many of us chose this school because it is not a public school. It is not the same as the other public schools. We chose this school because it was a little different from them, and so I believe that continuing prioritizing that difference is the key to being successful for this school's future.
Thank you.
Question number 7. What are your views on board composition, including parents versus non-parent representation, and how should the board approach a potential expansion to additional campuses?
So
basically
two parts, right?
Two
So
parts.
the first part, I believe that a diverse board is essential. When we hire, I've sat on over 100 interviews, and one thing that I always look for is not the person that's like me. It's very, very, because the person that's like me isn't going to bring anything new, right? The person that's like me is not going to, I'm not going to learn anything from that person. I need to be challenged, and I want to be able to know something new, a different perspective that I don't already know. That is so important because you'd be amazed on how a different perspective can change the way you look at something, and that may lead to another idea that you would not have thought of. As for the expansion of the school, I don't know, right? I don't know the fiscal budget, I don't know what the, where we are, like, what could be done in a responsible manner. I don't know enough, I don't have enough information to be able to say, yes, we should do it, because it should be done in a manner that's fiscally responsible, that's going to be a success, because we don't want to start something that's going to just become a failure, because that would be the worst thing that could happen. So I don't know unless I had more info that I had more data points that I could look at to say, hey, we should go ahead and do this, as opposed to, no, we shouldn't do something else.
Thank you.
Okay, we have about 3 minutes left, so if there are any additional questions of the board, this would be the time.
I wanted to say thank you for being here since the beginning.
That's right.
Right, and we're celebrating.
Very tumultuous.
Yes, hopefully you're coming Friday night to the spring fling. It's not to put pressure on you, hopefully you're coming. If you're not, it's okay.
But unfortunately, my kids have a golf tournament on Friday night, and so they have to do that. And it's another role that I got to play.
But there are a few of us who have been here since the beginning, so we just want to thank you for sticking it out. I guess I'm curious, are you happy that you stayed? I think
Absolutely.
so.
Absolutely. I would not be here unless I was happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you've seen it. You've seen it since the beginning.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Yes. Yeah. Lots of challenges.
Well.
No, I'm okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your interest. Thank you for being a wonderful part of the school.
I do have to make another thing. The next board meeting on June 23rd, I'm going to be in Taiwan that day.
Okay. It's good to know.
Thank you.
I will give you this.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you have one more?
Yes. So you don't get confused.
Well, I think this stuff is fine.
Yeah, just heads up. Thank you.
We'll have about 15 minutes for the 7 questions.
Okay.
If there's any extra time, the board will ask you additional questions.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll give you like hand motions, like 10 minutes.
Okay.
So here's same questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. Hello. Welcome. Would you mind confirming your name, please?
Pardon me?
Would you mind confirming your name, please?
From Tanpa.
All right, Tom. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Okay, I'm going to read something to you. The IAA Board of Directors will conduct interviews in open session with 4 candidates tonight, May 19, 2026. On April 28, 2026, an additional 5 candidates were interviewed. The first round of interviews will last approximately 15 minutes each. The second round and nomination, if any, will be held on June 23, 2026 at a regularly scheduled board meeting. So we have 7 questions in front of us, which are the same, which are in front of you. And we'll start with Molly, and each of us will ask you a question, and we'll just go on.
Okay. Question 1, this one has 2 parts. Tell us about your background and what draws you to serve on the board of IIA. And if selected, what would be your top priority in your first year?
So I think there's two important things about my
Use your mic. It's on.
Hello? Yeah. So I think there's two relevant things about my background for you to know about. So one is that I'm a parent of 2 kids at IAA, so I greatly support the mission and the values that IAA espouses. Professionally, I am a bank CEO, so I bring a lot of financial expertise that maybe not everybody else has. I'm a CPA. I'm also a chartered financial analyst, so those are two kind of pretty highly regarded designations in the financial industry. So I would bring that type of expertise to our board if selected. My top priorities for the first year, first, would be to just understand exactly how the board operates and get comfortable with how the board operates. I wouldn't be there to rock the boat. The school's doing so well, so first priority is to kind of get comfortable, know what's going on, and then from there I would lend any guidance that I may have.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have your CV and your cover letter. Thank you for submitting both of those. What specific skills, experiences, or networks would you bring to the board, and how would you actively contribute to advancing the school's mission?
So in terms of my skills and experience and network, I bring a lot of financial expertise. And I can actually give an example that I already helped the school with as a parent. So a couple years back, there was an email that came out saying the school needed help with financials and parents could get a return if we made a donation or investment or something. And I looked at that and I said, well, I think I could help the school do better. So I reached out to then at the time Karen,
Dr. Kernan.
yeah, doctor, and connected her with another nonprofit that I'm a part of. We administer the state guarantee program, and it's similar to the SBA. But anyways, through that program, we help find a bank to give much cheaper financing to the school to help the school save a lot of money on interest. And with that, I assume the school's operating better now that we have a little bit more cash flow.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of one very specific example that I've done based on my experience.
Thank you.
Welcome. Question number 3. What do you see as the appropriate role of the board versus the school leadership, and how do you maintain that distinction in practice?
So I serve on a board right now, and I'm also in management of a company right now. So in my view, management is day-to-day, board is governance, board is giving strategic mentoring feedback to management, but management is day-to-day. Board is not supposed to get down to day-to-day. We don't want to be here telling people what to do. Mainly, management does their job, give us reports. We evaluate the reports, make sure the trends aren't going the right way, and keep management on track with the goals that we have all established together. So that would be the main thing. Management, day-to-day, board, higher level governance.
Thank you.
Welcome. What do you believe are the greatest challenges currently facing IAA, and what role should the board play in addressing them while ensuring proper oversight?
Well, I think that IAA has a good problem, because right now we're doing really well, so there's nowhere to go but down. So that's kind of a good problem. What the board should do is make sure that we keep the energy going. Whatever we're doing now, whatever is on that flywheel, keep that flywheel spinning, and don't let it stop. And I do understand as a charter school, our funding is going to be a little bit different than traditional public schools. So we do need to figure out a way to stay connected and make it known that our charter school is doing well, the public dollars are being spent very well, and kind of just continue the momentum.
Thank you.
Question 5. can you support and publicly uphold a board decision you disagreed with? And please explain how you would handle that situation.
I guess the easiest way is to be a big boy about it, right? So you wanna have your documented reasons about why you disagree, and just make sure that whatever you have is logical. It's not, you don't have any self-conflicts with the decision, and just make sure it's properly documented, and that is actually the role of a board member, to have a credible objection to whatever they may not feel comfortable with.
From a governance perspective, what priorities should the board set regarding academic performance and program offerings?
So from my perspective on how the school's going, I don't think anything should change. They won a Distinguished Program Award last year. My kids are learning Mandarin. They can read. They're giving me attitude that shows that they got critical thinking. So I don't think anything needs to be changed right now. I mean, and again, that's why my first year, my priority would be to kind of learn about how things are working and get feedback along the way. Right now, the school's doing so great. It'd be a mistake to want to go change everything.
Thank you.
Question number 7. What are your views on board composition, including parents versus non-parent representation? That's the first part. Second part, how should the board approach a potential expansion to different sites, different campus?
So with regards to board composition for parents and non-parents, I would lean towards more parents, because they're gonna have more vested interest because they have their kids going there. But then again, if it requires non-parents in order to bring in different perspective or different skill sets that are missing from the board, then that should definitely be considered and added. So let's say we need help with marketing, like somebody to give the school feedback on marketing, and the board doesn't have that. It'd be great to have a parent with that type of feedback for IT or tech something, or knowledge of social media, AI, anything like that. So it would just kind of depend on what the board is missing, and then we get in the right person to fill those gaps. So in terms of potential expansion to additional campuses, I think the most important thing would just be to make sure the mission and the values are the same, so that the students get the same experience, whether they're at the new campus or this one. And I think the way that the board should approach any potential expansion is like the same as if we were to open up another McDonald's, right? When you go to McDonald's, one of the reasons is it's consistent, you know, with the hamburger. Well, okay, no, we'll be in and out. We'll be in and out. California will be in and out. Like you go to In and Out, get the best hamburger. It's consistent, you love it, you keep on going back. So we set up another campus, the feeling should be, the experience should be the same. That should be the goal.
Thank you.
Okay, so we do have almost 6 minutes left. If the board has additional questions, this would be the time to ask those questions.
Okay. I like to ask a question. So, yeah, it's great to see you here. So if you were to make some suggestions, let's say, you know, you're a board member, if you were to make suggestions to have some, earlier you said that you don't see any changes necessary. That's, you know, that's a perspective. If you do want to propose some ideas or suggestions, what would that be?
If I were to propose any ideas or suggestions, I would think of ways for parents to maybe make it easier for parents to donate money. Because I know that we're like a nonprofit, right? So if you set up like a foundation or something, it may cost a little bit of money to set up, but with a foundation, parents can make tax deductible donations to it, and that would probably encourage giving. That would So that's just one example, but my main thing is make it easier for parents to give money. Or not even, maybe not even parents, but just people interested to give money. And the other thing is I think maybe just market the school more, just so then more people know about us, even if they're not sending kids here. But I do think that if the more people know about the school, if you wanted to go get sponsorships or something, then the brand is out there. And that kind of also ties to if you wanted to do another additional campus, it'd be nice to have a strong brand before you open another campus.
Thank you.
All right. Questions?
I have a question. I know you're on another, at least one other board, and you've got activities. Do you feel like you have the time to be able to support this school board?
Yes, if I didn't have time, I would not be here. And one of the things that why I said you want to have parents with the best interest is because my kids go to school here, I feel like it's time well spent to make sure that I can be a part of helping them have a good experience.
Well, we want to thank you, and thank you for being a part of the school. And thank you for your interest in applying here, and thank you for your support with Lead Donate. I think it was instrumental for us, so we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Hope to see you on Friday.
Yeah, I'll be here. I'll see you on Friday.
Well, not here,
Oh, yeah.
but at Mariners
Mariners.
Church. Thank you. I'll take the questions and I'll lock it up. All right, thank you. Thanks so much.
That's it. So you have your
I mean, you
final
can
tally.
stay if you'd like, since we're done with the interviews, but I don't know if you want to stay. But thank you for coming.
Well, thank you.
And then we'll have.
Yes.
Right now, right now?
I want to do the final tally.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. See you tomorrow. We're good. Are you gonna take a few minutes, or do you want me just to hop back?
So we're taking a few minutes, but I want to make sure David gets his questions answered. You need some time to complete, right?
Yeah, just a couple.
Just a couple minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
some time to think about the first set of questions.
Gonna refresh your memory, huh?
I remember.
Yeah. Okay,
You ready?
yeah, I'm
Okay,
ready, yeah.
so thank you, Board Member Mr. Sun, for your patience. We wanted to make sure we got through the interviews and everyone on time, which we did. Thank you, Dr. Henry, for timekeeping. Thank you to the board for the process. All right, we're gonna go back to local control and accountability plan. We've got the Q&A related to the presentation. Mr. Sun, you have the floor.
Yeah. Thank you, Brad, and thank you, Dr. Henry, for giving me the opportunity to ask some questions. I mean, overall, I think it looks great, but I do notice there were several things, you know, one as pointed out, in terms of the spending, two things. One, library. Yeah, I think even before, you know, your term, I think a couple of times I raised questions, I really kind of urged to spend a little more on books, on library. And I don't see that, you know, there's much change. 3,700 is not really much, but that's a month, right? Granted. That's a
So,
month.
yes, I mean, I can give you some information and things like that. And then also, I believe, not to speak for you, your second question was about special education funding as well.
Yeah.
So to go to the library, the goal, the spending that we have for that, prior to my coming, there was a dollar amount that our volunteer librarian had each month to come up with purchases, and we would approve all of those, and they equaled that amount. I would say I'm not sure how the number they came up with, but it was $370 a month. I will tell you that Miss Ellen, who is our honorary librarian, she does give me purchases. Anything that is needed for the library is approved. One of the reasons why we kept the number the same going into this year is not exactly knowing how the library would transform. Another just piece of information that I don't think we've shared with the board yet, because I'm not sure how, but we were encouraged to write a grant that would help with STEAM and other pieces. And so in the grant, we did write into changing a portion of the library into a makerspace that kids could come in and use, that included a lot of 3D printers. So that has been written into a grant. We haven't gotten the money yet, fingers crossed, but we can also find other ways to do it if we do not. So we really are looking at the library. So we kept the projections of what we spent last year the same. However, I have had many talks with Miss Ellen about bringing in more books. And one of the direction that we're going is also, which is going into the curriculum spending, is making the in-classroom libraries more robust. So some of this spending is, so it's not only in that room, but that with the Mandarin books as well as the English books for spending. So that's the reason why. However, if there was ever any need, we would raise that up.
Yeah, Dr. Henry, I mean, not sitting here basically criticizing anything.
Right.
Just, numbers doesn't lie.
Understood.
That doesn't, numbers are numbers. And if I look at the overall spending, elsewhere, just some of the numbers are very substantial. And this is disproportionately low. Okay?
It is.
Even on a monthly basis.
And I think part of that also is there's no staffing in that action, whereas a lot of our actions for each of those goals include either a portion of staffing, let's say a quarter of Principal Schmitter and Assistant Principal Zhong's salaries go into 1.3 because they're carrying out that action. Whereas the library, because we do have a volunteer librarian, does not have any staffing incorporated.
My suggestion is just look into it, and
Okay.
that's one area to enhance. Okay, that's just
We
my
can.
suggestion.
And actually,
Yeah.
just so, this is the purpose of the public hearing, is to get your feedback, and also I can continue to get feedback all the way through June when the board approves. So we can definitely look at that and see if there's other areas we can increase with the library.
Great, thank you. And the second area I noticed is the gate. I mean, gate is also one of the areas that I strongly promote,
Yes,
And there was like a spending $10,000 identification and maybe materials or things. Okay, okay. I mean, this is the beginning. Yeah, right around, you already have some spending, some budget on the GATE program. I'm very, very pleased to see that. I'd like to see more effort directed. And frankly, that's one area sometimes to differentiate, a regular school versus a top ranked school.
100%.
Yeah.
And although we had $10,000 in the same action last year, but as I had said, really the cost of the assessment is very low. It was $1,100. And then everything else we did to start the implementation of GATE has been with our own resources, meaning the strength of the staff, right? Like, so the newsletters and then the science fair, Ms. Kaminsky did that, right? So we've done a lot of things that didn't have additional costs, but I wanted to keep that number the same so that we have the option to do things that have additional costs. So thank you for that feedback.
Okay. And a third point that's probably a little more important is I noticed discrepancy in the survey results, students versus the staff versus the parents. You see very positive feedback. LCAP will go 1. Students' feedback are pretty much very positive, all right, you see. However, if you take a look at staff and parents, you see some drops, decrease. So you do see a disconnect.
Absolutely. When we did our LCAP advisory, we looked at that very closely with the people at the tables, the stakeholders that attended. And what we noticed is, and I actually presented the data 2 different ways. If we counted the neutrals, the middle of the Likert scale, as in, okay, agree, strongly agree, and neutral, from last year to this year, it's the same. So meaning the poor marks are about the same, but there were a lot more families who really didn't know. And that's actually something that we need to notice. So if they're like, well, I'm not sure if the academics are this way, I'm not sure. The kids know, but a lot of the parents of our new families really weren't sure. And so I think that's something that we can do a better job of when parents are onboarded and they come in, that we share, that we do these things and how we do it so that they know how to better answer the survey. I think if that's a way to put it. But we did notice that drop, and we looked at it in a lot of different ways. And we shared that information at the LCAP advisory as well as the Executive Director Advisory Committee to see how we could improve.
Yeah, and you do notice in goal 2 and goal number 3, and the parent involvement is going up. That's very positive. Okay, and I see 2 areas. You see, that's a goal number 2. Now 2 areas drop quite significantly. One's the relationship dropped by 5.3%. Engaging environment survey dropped by 9.3%. That's quite substantial.
It is. It is. And the survey was taken early on. The survey was taken in November. So it is definitely unnoticing, and coming in and then seeing almost immediately a drop, there was a lot of discussions and wondering why. I don't even know that I have that answer now, but to have that on the radar, that drop exists, is really important, because You're absolutely correct. I don't know if it was the change in our ELOP, and also some of the extra classes we added didn't come on until later. They started in November, and so we didn't have a lot of the extra enrichment at that time. That could be part of it as well, but it's something that we need to pay attention to.
There's someone looking into that and try to figure out what happens, you know.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Our team has been looking at the survey since November, and then I've shared it with several parent groups. And then also being someone who spends a lot of time with data in my career, I can guess and then only hope that if we're, going the right way, that we will see that improvement. And it's just a longitudinal, keep monitoring and listening to families, because it's not just about a survey. It's about the comments at the coffee with the principal and things like that, because they will back up what's in the survey often.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And,
taking time to address my questions.
I appreciate it. And if I could just address the special education piece, why it's $500,000. That is actually state funding, and it's not a number that we chose. That's a number that the state says you have to spend, and that is also another area where we have to keep increasing services. So I am watching it, and I will say the majority of that goal is staffing.
Yeah, I recall in one of the numbers you sent out, I don't remember specifically which number, the one single person for the special need costs $20-something thousand, right? One person. My impression is, that obviously that's necessary. I'm not saying it's not necessary. So what I'm saying is that sometimes when you look at the numbers, you got to tell, really, that because the numbers can tell a lot, right? Where the focus is, where the money is being spent and directed. And, sometimes you want to, have a balance, overall balance. Obviously within the, the legal mandate.
I will say this, the governor did his May revise on the budget, and it looks like they're going to even increase special education funding even more. I think one good thing that I've noticed here at IIA is our special ed does not encroach on the regular budget, meaning we spend under the federal budget, where in a lot of places, they're spending all their special education funding and then some of the general budget as well. So we don't have that issue, which is positive, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, anyone else?
Real quick, I just was looking at the LCAP Goal 2, the metrics themselves, the stakeholders survey, the staff, right? And so when you look at the outcomes, they're all negative here, but when you look at the the differences, but if you look at the outcomes themselves, they're still in the 90s.
They're very positive.
Yeah.
And
so
we
you have a drop
added,
here, you have a negative 4.3%, but it's still 94%.
right.
So it
And
went down, but it's still in the 90 percentile.
it is, thank you for noticing that. And also, as I stated, the staff survey in the past was only given to teachers. And so the teachers, but we expanded it to classified staff as well. And because of that, I think there was a lot more of that neutral column of I'm not sure if the teachers have great relationships with the students because I'm, working here or doing this. So I think that brought them down a little bit, but overall they're still very positive.
Still very popular. Yeah, very high percentile, which is just a reflection of the staff, right? And the relationship with the parents, students.
I do, one or two things. One, I think you just read it a little differently. you read the 564,379 number as 5,643.
Oh, did I?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
what I
let me
heard.
look.
Just a point of clarification. I know you know that, that's what you read.
I think
just
I was
wanna
just
make
reading
sure that I'm
quickly.
Clear on that.
Or it
It's
could
the
be my
last-
vision,
It's the
yeah.
last, it's the increased or improved services.
Oh, I see, okay, trying to find out what's going on.
Actually, I was thinking, why did I understand that, the way she put it? I
Yeah.
know
Oh, yeah,
that's wrong,
okay.
but
Because I was
still
trying to figure out, that's a
understood.
comma, or we got a period in there?
Yeah.
It's a
I
comma.
still
Okay,
understand
yes.
what she meant. It
Okay.
just didn't- It wasn't, she didn't say.
So then you just answered my other question, but I was curious, of the grants that are provided for these supplementals, how under budget or over budget are we? And I believe you said we're under budget when it comes to.
For special education
for
funding?
Special ed, and I was just curious if you knew roughly, are we pretty close to?
Yes, so I would say really, and in fact, you guys, Mr. Wassell said it quickly, but you would be approving the CONAP is for us to continue to get all the title funding, Title 1, 2, 3, 4. That money is not necessarily over or under. What we do is we look at what from the LCAP can we use that money first. So that, it's not a budgeted. I would say the only other budget that is kind of limited like that is ELOP. And as we presented, I think we've brought the, so to speak, encroachment onto the regular fund way down by $175,000 this year. And the change that we've announced and we have out there, and it's on our website, of going till 4/30 next year is going to make it break even, which is much better. But that's the only other budget that's kind of limited. Like special ed is special ed only, ELOP, after-school programs, TK through 6 only, and then Title I can have a lot of different, like serving ELs, and we can kind of fit this into different actions. So those I would say, we're more concerned with making sure we spend it than not spending it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, we'll move to items for discussion and possible action. We've got up first A, approve education protection account EPA 26-27 spending plan and resolution. Proposition 30 was approved by voters on November 6, 2012, which added Article 13, Section 36 to the California Constitution effective November 12, 2012. The provisions of Article 13, Section 36E create in the State General Fund an education protection account to receive and disperse the revenues derived from incremental increases in taxes imposed by Article 13, Section 36F. All the monies in the education protection account are continuously approved or appropriated for the support of school districts, county offices of education, charter schools, and community college districts. Monies deposited in the education protection account shall not be used to pay any costs incurred by the legislature, the governor, or any agency of state government. The monies from the education protection account shall not be used for salaries or benefits for administrators or any other administrative costs. It is required that the governing board of the charter school make the appropriate determinations with respect to monies received from the education protection account in open session of a public meeting of the governing board. LCAP goal action, not applicable. Funding source, not applicable. Budget financial impact, not applicable. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item A. Any comments?
I will say this is one that you approve each year, and I had to do a little bit of learning about this, but this is a fund that we just, what you're doing is you will, if approved, you will sign a resolution that states that we will only use this for certificated salaries, nothing else. And then also there is a plan that we are to say that we will spend it the same way for the following year. The way that AJ, Mr. Wassell, did this is I used the EPA resolution that we've used historically because I thought the board would be familiar with that. And he had another, his plan was almost written like another resolution, but it does have the spending. So Last year, we received $114,000 and some change, and coming into this school year, it'll be at $129,000. And then we just use that for certificated salaries, and that's what you're approving.
Okay, any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Philippe. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Molly. Take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Moving to B, approved 2026, 2027 consolidated application. Consolidated application CONAPs used by the California Department of Education to distribute categorical funds from various programs to local education agencies throughout California. Each LEA must submit the spring release of the CONAP, the spring release documents participation in these programs, and provides assurances that the LEA will comply with legal requirements of each program. Program entitlements are determined by formulas contained in the laws that created the programs. LCAP goal action, LCAP goals and actions, funding source, federal title funding, budget financial impact, approximately $50,000, reflected in the 26-27 budget. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item B.
My only comment is this allows us to continue to get all of the various fundings, Title I, Title II, for professional learning, Title III, supportive English learners, all the title funding that we qualify for that we can use to offset some items in the budget or to creatively offer those increased or improved services for our high needs students.
Thank you. Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll motion we accept.
Thank you, Philippe. I'll have your second. Take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Let's do that one
I
again.
was thinking about it.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any
Sorry,
opposed,
thank
please
you.
say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Thank you. All right, C, approve adoption of Haggerty Bridge to reading. In the 2025-26 school year, all California schools are required to conduct an annual universal reading risk screening for all students in kindergarten through grade 2. Schools now must provide reading support for all students, including those who show early signs of reading challenges. Haggerty Bridge to Reading is a comprehensive foundational skills curriculum for grades TK through 2nd. It integrates explicit phonemic awareness with phonics instruction and is designed to boost early literacy through daily 30-minute lessons. Haggerty is evidence-based, aligned to the science of reading, and designed to complement existing literacy programs to teach reading foundations. The curriculum is $17,120.25 and includes daily lessons and materials in a classroom kit for each teacher, digital resources, and training to support classroom instruction and decodable text for students. LCAP goal, action, goal 1, action 4, 5, and 11. Funding source, LCFF, budget financial impact, $17,120.25, and will be reflected in the 26-27 budget. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item C, and I believe this is a carryover from the last board meeting, correct?
Yes, and you have the correct quote in either the board folder or it's also attached in Gamut.
Yeah. Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Molly. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. All right, moving to executive director's report.
Okay, we just did this a week ago, so I don't have a lot of things. I will say that I do want to acknowledge with the LCAP all the hard work that our staff has been working on all those things that happen behind the scenes. And we're coming to the end of the year. It's a really busy time, so I do want to acknowledge them for that. Our scores for CASP are actually starting to come in. So different students are populating scores. We have a team of data teachers that are populating them in as we get them. And so we don't have aggregate scores, and I don't think there's enough yet, but parents would also see when their scores are ready for all 3 tests, they would see the score report populate into their ARIES student portal. I'm seeing 1 test for this student, 1 test for that, so the score report doesn't come until all 3 or 2 or 3, depending on their grade level, are in. We also have our scores for Apple testing, and Ms. Young has been working really hard analyzing that, looking at how many students are gonna qualify for the pathway to biliteracy this year. So there's been some highs and lows. She said, her statement today was overall there was a lot of progress. I do want to thank all of our families who are able to attend the town hall and have for their positive support, and that we did add a 26-27 facilities page to our website, as well as we are gathering FAQs. So as questions come in, we're trying to answer them and then also memorialize them on the webpage because other people may have the same questions. But I do want to thank our community. I want to thank our board for the support and in everything that we do. And then I'll just add on one more positive note. So we've gained some attention from the California Charter School Association up in Sacramento. And they are interested in coming down and visiting our school on June 12th and taking some pictures to put in the California Charter School magazine that goes out. So that's great.
June 12th?
June 12th.
Maybe I might have to be here.
You're more than welcome to come.
There's pictures, right?
We will have, school will be out, but summer school will be in session. And I did talk to the team about anyone that isn't on vacation, if they'd like to come and be part of this, we'd love to have them. So that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving to director's reports.
Okay. Please do. Please don't get ready.
I also want to acknowledge that all the staff, teachers, parents, and principals, and Dr. Henry for your effort. Thank you for your detailed announcement about the LCAP. So I'm a visual person, so as you were going through step by step, I was just thinking about a plant, a tree. It's growing, and we are 5 years old now, right? And then, but what I see is everyone in IIA's families, everyone is making sure that we have a good foundation and putting things in the right place. You know, something we have to cut, something we need to put it in. Everyone is doing that. We have such a good foundation. So in the future, we'll have continue to blossom. And so just thank you for everyone's effort. Really look forward to for the next year. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You ready? I'm always ready, but this year, I want to thank you for your work on the LCAP, because it's certainly the plan for the future, right? You know, and when you have that detailed guidance like that, it's reflected on the school, and honestly, we wouldn't be where we are today without such a plan, you know, and it's great. So thank you for all your work on that. I remind everybody, next Friday, you know, this Friday, put your dancing shoes on, make sure you come out to the 5-year celebration. It's going to be quite an event. That's all I have.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Henry, for that wonderful summary and the LCAP. You know, even though I focus on some questions, but you know, I don't want that to dilute any of the achievements, all the goals. There are a lot of things I know. It's not easy to just to put all that. And I also wanted to thank the staff under your leadership, the principal, and all your staff for very tremendous job.
Yeah, I just wanted to recognize the staff also. It takes a village to help support that LCAP, and we've got excellent staff here. Kudos on a very successful town hall as well, and thank you for being so transparent and communicative with all of the stakeholders. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, and very excited for Friday night. What an amazing 5-year accomplishment. Okay. Moving on to adjournments. Recommend the board adjourn the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors today, May 19, 2026. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Molly. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Meeting adjourned at 8:52 PM.
Okay.